this stunning location, the Changping district, north of Beijing, China, for the elite men's race. This should be a fascinating battle between three of the best triathletes in the world. Hunter Kemper of the USA, winner of the Mazatlan World Cup and currently first in the ITU World Cup ranking. Tim Don, three-time World Cup winner this year, and France's Frédéric Belovre, Salford World Cup winner and the current ITU European champion. As they make their way down for the swim start, your commentator for today's race is former Canadian Olympic coach Barry Shepley.
It is time for the men, and many of these athletes, 23 and under, hoping to be here as part of their Olympic Games team in 4 years. Certainly the veterans, people like Tim Don, Rito Hughes, Hunter Kemper, and Frederic Bellerbet, those men would love to be back here. Bevan Docherty, the Olympic Games silver medalist as well. A huge group of men are coming off the pontoon. It's a two-lap swim, 1,500 meters here in the inner reservoir, a very large dammed area, the hills of Beijing and the Changping district in the surrounding area. And it'll be Andy Potts taking it out very quickly here. Potts, the American swimmer, very frustrated with an average swim for him, coming out about 15th spot at the World Championships at Gamagori, and vowed to make sure that he's one of the first 2 or 3 out of the water here today. The athletes will be going 300 straight meters down before making a hard right-hand turn. It's a rectangle. They'll come back into the inner harbor, up a set of stairs, before going back into the water to start their second 750-meter lap. Gian Frodano from Germany pushing the pace very quickly here in these opening meters. Frank Binet from France. Frederic Bellerbet, his teammate, right now sitting in 4th and 5th spot. Hunter Kemper from USA sitting back in 6th, but it's the American Andy Potts who has put his stamp on this swim very early. The athletes will go directly back towards the wall of the dam. They'll make a hard right-hand turn and go parallel to the dam, straight back to the end of their 750 meters up the stairs onto the pontoon to start a second swim. We're here at the OSIM ITU Men's World Cup Triathlon. Athletes 13 through 35, very tightly bunched, but right now a small group of men pushing the pace here very early. And Frodano from Germany, Andre Raylert from Germany as well into that lead group of 5 or 6. Andy Potts, the American swim specialist, pushing very hard here through the opening leg of this ITU Men's Triathlon. The air temperature today absolutely perfect, about 25 degrees Celsius. There was a very strong wind earlier in the day for the women's race. It's starting to just relax a bit, although we have seen the flag still blowing with a little bit of intensity here this morning. And as our men now come back into the harbor at the completion of 750 meters, it's Andy Potts from the United States of America pushing the pace very quickly. We'll be up the ramp, the stairs, back into the water. Potts has done this many, many times before, the World Cup winner from the Edmonton Triathlon. And you can see right there, Binet heading back into the water. Hunter Kemper into that lead group as well. Paul Tischler just coming out of the water there. Frodano, Raylert out of the water, very tightly bunched as our men right now have come through there. Just 750 meters into this 1,500 meter swim. Bevan Docherty, Peter Kroes coming out of the water, the man from Belgium, who's been one of the top 23 and unders over the last couple of seasons. Tim Don back by about 30 seconds right now. Rito Hughes as well, back a little further than he would like to be in this opening leg of the men's OSIM ITU Beijing Triathlon. Again, the course being used as a demonstration opportunity, one of the first times that the Olympic events have now been held here in Beijing. There have been some small triathlons in the past, but certainly nothing to this magnitude. Frank Binet and Frederic Bellerbet pushing very quickly through these opening legs of our triathlons, and a man who has had an incredible season, Hunter Kemper, the 29-year-old American, right now ranked number 1 in the world. He won the World Cup race in Mazatlan, 2nd in Edmonton already this year, 2nd at the Ishigaki World Cup race. It's Andy Potts out of the water first, and a great swim for the American as he's out in 17:44. Up the stairs they will go, and into that group, Becky Petzold, Jan Verdano coming out of the water, Hunter Kemper with a great swim just coming through, so Kemper will be in there. The very big Matt Reed from USA also coming out of the water with a great swim. As well into that group, Marco Albert, Frank Binet, and Paul Tischler from Canada. So a group of about 9 or 10 athletes, very well established coming out. Rito Hugh and Tim Don a little further back, just exiting the water as we speak, as a small group of about 8 or 9 have come into the transition very tightly bunched together, and it is Andy Potts heading off right there out onto the course. You can see Philip Ospoli and a number of the athletes now trying to get out onto their bikes very quickly. Transition time critical, because this course you immediately climb a large hill out of the transition zone, and Potts right now is into his shoes and in a superb position. Tim Don well back right now for the 3-time World Cup winner, and you can take a look right there. 17:44 and change. The Germans well positioned out of the water. The American team well positioned as well. Philip Ospoli from the Czech Republic just 20 seconds back, and we have seen this man have an absolutely phenomenal run in both Hamburg as well as the World Cup race earlier this year in Tisavares.
This fall on OLN, we'll bring it, we'll build it, we'll brave it, then we'll tear it up. We gotta tear it up! It's new series, new sports, new adventures. The new fall season on OLN. Tear it up.
Men love trucks, Chevy trucks. Why? Because when the pavement ends, so do the excuses. Enter the 2006 Silverado Z71 with off-road tuned suspension, and unlike Ford or Dodge, an automatic rear locker that lets you grip and go where others might think twice. Silverado from Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Long live the truck.
Free Alaska Vacation Planner, 1-800-952-3555. Alaska, beyond your dreams, within your reach. To Alaska.
We are the men and women of the United States Army Reserve. We are regular people who share our time serving our country and our communities. Our training makes us stronger as soldiers and as citizens who stand ready.
To find out how you can serve your country in the Army Reserve, call 1-888-624-ARMY for this free DVD and get a free sports watch. Stand ready in the Army Reserve.
Once the water started rising and we knew we had to evacuate and get out to higher ground, the fear left and survival kicked in.
I called Progressive, and the very next morning, they had somebody out there. I know when they come that my vehicles will be taken care of. Now, that's what I call easy.
Hunter Kemper and Andy Potts looking over their shoulder right now as we are still early in lap 1, as our group of 9 now are trying to make a small, significant breakaway on the likes of Tim Don and Rito Hugh, who will be coming up behind in our chase group. Some of our athletes still getting into their shoes here in lap 1. Our lead group of 8 or 9 men right now are trying to stay ahead of our chase group of athletes, and that includes the likes of Bevan Docherty, Cedric Fleuriton, 2 very, very powerful men on the swim and bike. Our bronze medalist from the Athens Olympic Games, Sven Rieder, is out, and our lead group right now coming back across the top of the dam in the reservoir area, and they will be trying to stay ahead of a very, very fast closing group, which includes Peter Crows into that chase group coming up. Bevan Doherty, Cedric Fullerton as well, the three men who are really pushing the pace in this chase group, and they are right now only down by 30 seconds. Back up to our leaders right now as Potts will be trying to encourage this group of 8 or 9 athletes to stay ahead of that chase group, because the likes of Tim Don will be back in that group, Rito Hugh as well, two of the men who we have seen put in some of the strongest runs in the sport. And as we now start to work our way away from the chase group, a small group of 3 looks to have broken away. Cedric Fullerton into that group, I think Bevan Doherty and Peter Crows as well. So that is a very powerful threesome who have broken away from the chase group, and they are trying to go after our leaders right now. Doherty, Crows, and Cedric Fullerton, and they're going after this lead group of 9. Taking a look right there at Hunter Kemper, who has taken his pull at the front and now working his way to the back of this lead group, and they will have to worry about this man right here, Peter Crows, the young Belgian who is riding incredibly well, and along with him Cedric Fullerton and Bevan Doherty, the Olympic Games silver medalist from New Zealand, as this trio have strategically made the right breakaway, and this is the kind of course that will allow a powerful cyclist to make a breakaway and to get away. And it's one of the things that ITU was looking at coming into the 2008 Olympic Games, to build on the strength of the Athens course, which allowed very powerful men to get away, to work together, and to break away. Here today we are seeing strong cyclists able to get away from each other. We're here at the 2005 OSM ITU Elite Men's Triathlon in Beijing, and our chase group of athletes are trying to go after this very powerful group right now, which includes our German trio. It includes the young Canadian Paul Tischler, and it soon will be including our chase group, which includes Bevan Doherty, Peter Crows, and Cedric Fullerton as a part of that very, very powerful group of men who have worked so hard over the last 4 or 5 kilometers to catch on.
I'm very proud of my lawn. In the fall, I use Scott's Winterizer. The food enters the root system, stores it over the winter. Then in the spring, perks that grass right up.
Scott's Winterizer protects my lawn this winter for a greener lawn next spring.
Hey, talk about green. How does winning $99,000 sound? Just enter the Winterize with Scott sweepstakes for your chance to win $99,000 and many other great prizes. Enter today at winterizewithscotts.com. Protect your lawn now and win with Winterizer.
A lesson for parents about the power of your cable remote. Yes, you can surf the channels with it. But did you know? The cable remote can help control what your children watch. It's pretty easy. First hit menu or settings, then scroll through the on-screen options to set your password. Finally, block the programming by channel or rating. And talk to your children about why certain programs are not for them. Set your parental controls. It's easy. For more details on parental controls and tools, go to controlyourtv.org.
This is Bob. Bob is doing well. Very well indeed. That's because not long ago, with just a quick phone call, Bob realized that he could have something better in his life. And what did he get? Why, a big boost of confidence, a little more self-esteem, and a very happy missus at home. Call or go online now to get a free sample pack. Enzyte, the once daily tablet for natural male enhancement. This is Bob. Bob is looking cool. And with a call to Enzyte about natural male enhancement, Bob is living large. In a few short weeks, Bob has a big new spring of confidence. A generous swelling of pride. And the one thing every man deserves, a little well-earned respect from the neighborhood. Call or go online now to get a free sample pack at Enzyte. Enzyte, the once daily tablet for natural male enhancement.
Becky Petzold from Germany having a fantastic day here. The German team missing their taper at the World Championships and a little disappointed. And certainly with a number of injuries earlier on the women's side, to the likes of Joel Franzmann, who went down in the crash in Hamburg, and Anja Dittmar, who was late getting started in her season. The Germans would love to see a rebound here this weekend in Beijing to prove all the hard work through the off-season has paid off. A very large group of men now coming through, and you can see our chase group of 3. They are continuing to work very, very hard. Doherty, Cedric Fleuriton, Peter Kroos from Belgium as they come across the top of the dam one more time, and they will see the competition just up the street as Frédéric Bellerbet, the 2-time Olympian from France, went away last year to spend a lot of time up in the mountains to improve his cycling, and he has become the complete triathlete. The World Cup winner in Madrid last year. He was the victor earlier this year in Salford. Bellerbet showing great form last part of the season to become the European champion. We've seen many of the athletes either start off the season very powerfully, people like Simon Thompson, and then not finish strong, or others like Frédéric Bellerbet not have a great first part of the season and then come on very, very powerfully towards the end. Our leaders coming through right here across the top of the dam, the flag's blowing, and there are the 3 men who have worked very hard to try to catch on. Peter Kroos, Bevan Doherty, and Cedric Fleuriton, as they have put a little bit of a gap now back to the likes of Philip Ospley and Tim Don, and that chase group are going to have to work because there are some very, very strong runners in this lead group right now. This course very, very hilly, and it is very different than what the athletes will be racing on later on this season at the Cancun World Championships, where heat, humidity, and absolutely pancake flat course will be the conditions. Today, roughly 25, 26 degrees Celsius, a little bit of a wind, and you can see the flags blowing, and the air temperature, very little heat and humidity. As you can see, just one of the almost 1,000 volunteers who have been out here trying to make this course suitable for the athletes. Late in our bike course here, and Frédéric Bellerbet, one of the French athletes who have had a great swim and bike, is continuing to push. Mickey Petzold and John Frodano, the German athletes, sitting into this lead group as well. Paul Tischler, the Canadian athlete who has been living and training with Simon Whitfield out in Victoria, British Columbia. As Bevan Doherty now comes into our screen, so Doherty rewarded for his great work early on the swim and bike to get himself up into this lead group. It is certainly going to come down to a tremendous run, as our lead men now are less than 5 kilometers from the end of this 40-kilometer bike ride. American Hunter Kemper coming into your screen right there, and Kemper will have to assess his running abilities as he had great confidence coming into this series of races, including the World Championships. We're here in the inaugural OSIM I2 Beijing Triathlon. We're coming to the last phases of this 40-kilometer bike ride. Andy Potts, the man who led throughout the early part of the swim, had a World Cup victory earlier on this year in Edmonton, Alberta. He and Greg Craig Walton making a breakaway. As we look back here now to our chase group, Tim Don speaking to the other competitors around him, says they're slowing down, so he must be getting some information out there. In fact, it does look like they're starting to narrow the gap on the leaders. Final stages now. We're less than a kilometer away from the finishing line here of our 40-kilometer bike ride, and looks like a small breakaway. Raylert, I think, from Germany, looks like he has come off the front. Might also be one of our French athletes. I think Frank Binet may have made a breakaway as well, and we have seen these men do it so many times in the past. They are very solid runners, but certainly not of the first-class likes of Hunter Kemper and Frédéric Bellerbet. And as Raylert and Binet come to the end of their 40-kilometer bike ride, they will have a small gap, maybe about 10 to 15 seconds, and that certainly is not going to be that significant when you realize the likes of the men coming up from behind. Raylert from Germany, Binet from France, heading off to start their 3-lap, 10-kilometer run, and here they come now, the huge pack of men coming off the bike. Hunter Kemper just coming off right there, the #1 ranked man of the world. He will realize that he has some of the best runners coming off beside him. Frédéric Bellerbet will be into that group. Frodano, Cedric Fleuriton, who has shown the likes with some great runs as well. And as our leaders are pushing up the hill on the left side of the screen, our chase athletes coming up on the right, and that is Peter Kroos in the white on the back side, and Kroos has done a tremendous amount of work. And here comes our chase group, down by about another 50 seconds. Matt Reed into that chase group, so he has fallen back during out the last portion of the bike ride. Raylert and Binet making the breakaway, and then about 17 seconds back, and you can see into that group Tischler, Bellerbay, Stuart Hayes, Cedric Flirton, Chris Gimmel. Gimmel dealing with some stomach problems over the last 6 or 7 weeks, trying to get himself righted again, and certainly he's looked to have a solid swim bike here today. The time is almost up for our race leaders, Frank Binet and Andre Raylert. And to the right side of the screen, our chase group, and Binet in the black and blue, Raylert in the yellow and orange, and you can see right now Hunter Kemper, John Ferdano, Mickey Petzold, Frederick Bellerbay coming very, very quickly as they are just about to take the overall race lead. Chris Gimmel in red just on the left side of the screen, so Gimmel running very well here early on in this men's 10-kilometer run phase. The downhill section will really be one of the most punishing parts of this course right now, as Ferdano trying to take the lead. Hunter Kemper looking a little uncomfortable on the downhill running section right now as we take a look back to our chase group of athletes, and Frederick Bellerbay is absolutely accelerating down the hill. Bellerbay looking absolutely tremendous, a great turnover, and really his body looks very, very happy running downhill. Nearly a minute back, Matt Reed from USA and Tim Don just coming into the screen right there. They're on the left-hand side, and they were off the bike in the chase group, so they will have a significant amount of time to try to catch up. And Frederick Bellerbay, John Ferdano, Andy Potts, Mickey Petzold running very, very well on the right side of the screen. That's your race leaders right now, as Frederick Bellerbay looks like his mid-season improvement in fitness is really starting to pay off, as he ran through Simon Whitfield at the World Championship, so that man has to be greatly respected.
He was a big, strong, and determined player whose career ended in a flash.
I broke my 5th, 6th, and 7th vertebra.
But his memorable thumbs up defined the true Mike Utley.
I will be back.
Doctors said he'd never walk again.
He'll take steps, or he will die trying.
Mike Utley is fearless. All new Saturday at 10 p.m. And we believe in Broadway hits. Panther showstopper Roberto Luongo looks to steal the spotlight from Jaromir Jagr and the New York Rangers. The NHL on OLN. Panthers Rangers, Monday night at 7 Eastern.
Consolidate bills and lower your monthly payments with a $49 flat fee second mortgage from Ditech.com.
Lost another loan to Ditech.
Log on to Ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED.
Class of 95. Here I come.
Weekends look even better. Have 50% off. Rent Friday to Monday, 50% off. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
If you owe over $10,000 to the IRS or state, call American Tax Relief for a free consultation.
I thought I was going to lose my business, but American Tax Relief got me a second chance.
Call 800-716-6823 for your free consultation.
A short time ago, this woman was limited by her mobility. A month ago, this man wasn't even able to get around his house. These are people who chose mobility, and they chose the scooter store. If you're living with limited mobility, call the scooter store today. I guarantee no other company will work hard to make you mobile. If we pre-qualify you for a new scooter or power chair, and Medicare denies your claim, the scooter store allows you to keep your scooter or power chair at no cost. That's the scooter store guarantee.
I expected they'd help me file some paperwork with Medicare and my insurance. I never expected them to be so nice or to work so hard to get me a power chair at no cost to me.
You don't qualify for Medicare? No problem. We'll work with your insurance company, even help with financing. If there's a way, we'll find it.
Call the scooter store for free information today.
Call 1-800-313-5724 for free information. That number again is 1-800-313-5724.
Back now to our race leaders. And Petzold now has taken the lead from Germany. We look back to the end of the trail of our leaders, and Andy Potts, who led through the swim and much of the bike ride, now starting to lose some ground. It's Tim Don. He has made up about 20 seconds over the first 2 kilometers, but Don has a lot of ground to make up. And as they start to accelerate back up the hill right now, it is Hunter Kemper who seems more comfortable going up the hill than down, and Frederick Bellerbay right now just sitting on the backside with Bevan Doherty on his shoulder as well. The who's who of the men coming through the transition zone. And it is going to be a very, very strong run as Chris Gimmel dropped off the back and Andy Potts as well. Frodano from Germany now has taken the lead as they come back over the bridge. And really it is just one athlete after the other trying to make small accelerations to see who they can burn off. Bevan Doherty, Mickey Petzold into that group right now. Andy Potts has worked his way back up into this group, and Stuart Hayes, the young British athlete, sitting in a solid position as well as they come across the dam for the second of 3 laps. Doherty showing improved form over the last half of the season as his winter celebrations of his Olympic Games silver medal took its toll in the early portions of the season. And Hunter Kemper right now loves the flat, runs best on flat, and you have to believe that a course like Cancun will be much more suited for the larger man. Frederick Bellerbay sitting into there, and let's see if they accelerate one more time going back down the hill. Petzold looks to be dropped off the back, and you can see Cedric Fleuriton right there coming very, very quickly into that chase group. And once again, it looks like on the downhill section, Frederick Bellerbay accelerating down the hill. Stuart Hayes into that group as well, and you can take a look for Dano, the 6'4" German athlete, sitting right now looking quite comfortable as they're coming down the hill. Just past the halfway mark of our 10-kilometer run, and Andy Potts has accelerated himself back on, so that man showing a lot of guts. He was dropped off about a kilometer to go. The World Cup winner in Edmonton. He was second at the Pan American Championships last year, and coming from a strictly swim background, he is in a very, very improved state. Working very hard, but he is in no man's land as Tim Don off the bike, a minute down, and he is running through some of the slower athletes in that lead pack, but he has a lot of ground to make up, and none of these men are slowing down right now as they're coming through. Stuart Hayes just taking on some fluid right there. It looks to be 2 men now starting to make a break. Hunter Kemper and Frederick Bellerbay starting to accelerate away from John Frodano, who was sitting back in 3rd place. Cedric Fleuriton is well in 4th, and as they come through the transition zone with just one more lap to go, it is 3 men now running side by side. Frederick Bellerbay in the black from France, in the white hat as the bell is being rung. Hunter Kemper, the #1 ranked man in the world. Frodano from Germany coming through as well as they start to accelerate up the hill one more time. 3 men now starting to lap some of the weaker athletes on the course, as Hunter Kemper showing some great improved form here today after his disappointment at the World Championships. So certainly Hunter Kemper looking like he's starting to bounce back. It's Frederick Bellerbay right now starting to accelerate off the front. The man who won the World Cup race in Salford and ran through the field to finish 5th at the World Championships in Gamagori may have timed this perfectly. He is running through the shady portion of the course, and it is not too hot out there today, so the conditions really are not that difficult. We're seeing 2 big men out there having a great race. Frederick Bellerbay now less than a kilometer from the finishing line. Just behind him, it is Hunter Kemper trying to make his move. Bellerbay having accelerated away from Frodano from Germany and Hunter Kemper, and it looks like Kemper is coming back. Hunter Kemper has found one more gear with about 600 meters to go. Bellerbay swinging the arms. He does not want to give in to the American as they are now closing into the finishing line. Hunter Kemper accelerating now. Frodano has clearly fallen off the back. It's a 2-man sprint to the finishing line. The much smaller Frenchman, Frederick Bellerbay, 2 Olympic Games under his belt. Kemper, the 30-year-old American, 2 Olympic Games under his belt as well. They have both won a World Cup race here in 2005. Now, 300 meters to go to the finishing line. Hunter Kemper up on his toes, passing Frederick Bellerbay as they move into the last 150 meters. And here he comes. It'll be the American, Hunter Kemper, back from disappointment to win the OSIM I2 Beijing Men's Triathlon with a finishing time, 1:49.51. 30.52 for his run split. Frederick Bellerbay just seconds behind. A great improvement for that man as he continues to show great form late in the season. And the best race of the year for John Frodano from Germany. 1, 2, 3, America, France, and Germany.
It's FEM.
And Frederick Bellerbay is going to have to become comfortable with signing autographs, as this man has continued to improve dramatically, and the Chinese have come out and been tremendously supportive to spectators as well as the nearly 1,000 officials and volunteers on the course today. And the Beijing Olympic Committee have to be very pleased with what they've seen here in the inaugural race.
You know, I'm just happy to be here in Beijing. It was an absolutely wonderful course here, and I'm excited for the Olympics in 2008. It's great to win the first ever event here in Beijing. The course was spectacular, and the fans were pretty amazing.
At the finish, it was so hard. Hunter Kemper is very strong, and when I see him, I say, oh no, I can't run too fast, and I want to sprint, but he is too strong. And I am so tired, but I'm very happy. Everything is perfect here, and it's a great thing to be on the podium near the Great Wall tonight.
Oh, that was just the greatest race of my life, I think, and to lose against Freddie and Hunter, I think that's no shame, and we'll be sure to open a bottle of champagne or two tonight.
And as we take a look at the start of the award ceremony, it's Hunter Kemper, 149.51. Bellerbay and Verdano in there as well. Bevan Doherty getting into the top 10, the Olympic Games silver medalist. And Tim Don, 10th place overall, as a man who had to make his way through the crowd. And Hunter Kemper continuing that #1 ranking in the world as the American who faltered at the World Championships, getting that confidence back, as he said. And he will be a hard man to knock off the #1 ranking before the season ends in New Zealand later on in November. And as Les McDonald and our Beijing officials hand out the champagne, it is an opportunity to celebrate here, and it has been a great day of racing here in Beijing. I'm Barry Shepley on behalf of the ITU family saying see you next week at the World Cup race in Cancun, Mexico.